The earliest healing secrets didn't come from science, they came from a garden. Before doctors, before medicine, people survived using plants. Not casually, completely. For wounds, for infections, for purification, for survival itself. Some of these plants became so valuable they were traded across empires right alongside gold, frankincense, and myrrh. Others were used in sacred rituals, by priests. And a few were believed to hold powers we're only beginning to understand today. But here's what almost no one realizes. Many of these ancient plants still exist. Unnoticed. Overlooked. Growing in places you'd never think to look. In this video, we're uncovering 15 lost healing plants connected to the earliest world of human history, plants used for medicine, ritual, preservation, and survival. And stay with me, because halfway through, we'll get to a plant used in ancient purification rituals that modern science is now starting to take seriously. But the final plant is on another level. Once worth its weight in silver, traded across continents, and considered one of the most powerful natural remedies of the ancient world. Let's begin. Aloe, the burn healer that still works today. If you had a serious burn in the ancient world, you didn't go to a hospital. You reached for aloe. This plant shows up in the burial preparations of Jesus in the Gospel of John, mixed with myrrh as part of a preservation process. But long before that, aloe was already known as one of the most reliable skin healers in the ancient world. And that hasn't changed. Aloe vera stores a thick, clear gel inside its leaves. When applied directly to the skin, it creates a cooling effect that helps reduce pain almost immediately. Ancient cultures used it for burns, cuts, sun damage, and irritated skin, especially in hot, dry climates, where injuries could easily become infected. Modern research backs this up. Studies suggest aloe contains compounds that support wound healing, reduce inflammation, and help retain moisture in damaged skin. The best part is how simple it is to use. Break open a leaf, apply the gel directly to the affected area. No processing, no preparation. Even today, aloe is one of the most common ingredients in burn creams and skin treatments, but the raw plant works just as well for minor injuries. It's not complicated. It's not rare. It's just effective. A plant that has been healing skin for thousands of years, and still does exactly the same thing today. Garlic, the natural infection fighter in your kitchen. Before antibiotics, infections were one of the biggest dangers people faced. And one of the simplest defenses was garlic. Garlic is mentioned in the Book of Numbers, where the Israelites recall eating it regularly in Egypt. That detail matters because garlic wasn't just food, it was protection. Ancient cultures used garlic to fight infections, support the immune system, and preserve strength during illness. Workers, soldiers, and travelers consumed it daily because they believed it kept the body resilient. Now we know why. When garlic is crushed, it produces a compound called allicin. Modern studies suggest allicin has antimicrobial properties that may help fight bacteria and support immune response. In practical terms, garlic is still incredibly useful. Raw garlic can be added to food to support immunity. Some traditional practices include crushing it and letting it sit before consuming, which helps activate its compounds. It has also been used topically in diluted forms for certain skin issues, though this requires caution due to its strength. Today, garlic is everywhere, but it's easy to forget what it once was. Not just a flavor, a frontline defense. A simple bulb that helped people survive in a world where infection could mean death. Hyssop, the ancient respiratory cleanser. If you had a cough, chest congestion, or breathing difficulty in the ancient world, one of the plants you might reach for was hyssop. It appears in scripture as a cleansing plant, especially in the Book of Psalms. But that idea of cleansing wasn't just symbolic. It was practical. Hyssop was used in herbal preparations for respiratory issues, things like coughs, congestion, and throat irritation. The plant contains aromatic compounds that help open airways and support the body's ability to clear mucus. In traditional use, hyssop was often made into a tea. Hot water, steeped leaves, drunk slowly. The goal wasn't to suppress the cough, it was to make it more productive. To help the body clear what was stuck in the chest. Modern research has explored hyssop's essential oils and found compounds that may have antimicrobial and anti-inflammatory properties, especially for the respiratory system. Today, hyssop is still used in herbal teas and natural remedies for colds and mild respiratory discomfort. But what makes it stand out is how aligned it is with the body. It doesn't force anything, it supports the process. A plant used for cleansing that may have started with the lungs. Olive oil, the original wound treatment. In the ancient world, olive oil wasn't just food. It was medicine. In the parable of the Good Samaritan and the Gospel of Luke, oil is poured onto wounds as part of treatment. That wasn't symbolic storytelling, it reflected real medical practice at the time. Olive oil was used to clean wounds, protect damaged skin, and create a barrier against infection. Here's why it worked. Olive oil has natural antimicrobial properties and helps keep wounds from drying out too quickly, which supports healing. It was often combined with wine or herbs, but even on its own, it was effective. Ancient healers also used it for dry skin, inflammation, and muscle pain, massaging it into the body to reduce discomfort. Modern research supports many of these uses. Olive oil contains antioxidants and beneficial fats that may help reduce inflammation and support skin repair. Today, we mostly think of olive oil as something in the kitchen, but for centuries, it was part of first aid, something you reached for when someone was hurt. A simple oil that helped clean, protect, and heal. Frankincense, the anti-inflammatory resin. Frankincense is often associated with worship and incense, especially in the Gospel of Matthew. But it was also used for something very practical: pain and inflammation. Frankincense comes from the resin of the boswellia tree. When the bark is cut, it releases a sap that hardens into small golden droplets. These were collected, traded, and used in both ritual and medicine. Ancient healers used frankincense in oils and salves to treat joint pain, swelling, and inflammatory conditions. It was also burned and inhaled, possibly to support breathing and relaxation. Modern research has focused on compounds called boswellic acids. Studies suggest these may help reduce inflammation and support joint health. Today, frankincense is still used in essential oils and supplements. In practical terms, it's often applied topically, when properly diluted for sore joints and muscles, or used in aromatherapy. But its real significance is this: a substance once offered as a gift to a king was also used to relieve pain. A reminder that ancient people didn't separate the sacred from the practical. Healing was part of both. Perfect, continuing the same practical, remedy-focused style while keeping the biblical grounding subtle but present. Myrrh, the natural antiseptic for wounds and mouth infections. If there was one plant ancient people trusted for preventing infection, it was myrrh. Myrrh appears multiple times in the Bible, including during the crucifixion in the Gospel of Mark, but its everyday use was far more practical than most people realize. It was medicine. Myrrh is a resin, similar to frankincense, collected from small desert trees. When hardened, it forms dark, aromatic pieces that were crushed and mixed into oils, salves, and even mouth rinses. Ancient healers used myrrh primarily for wounds and infections. Applied to cuts, it helped protect against contamination. Used in diluted solutions, it was often applied to the mouth for gum disease, sores, and infections, something that was extremely important in a time with no dental care. Modern research supports this traditional use. Studies suggest myrrh contains antimicrobial and anti-inflammatory compounds, which may help reduce bacteria and support healing in both skin and oral tissues. Even today, myrrh extract is found in some natural mouthwashes and dental products. In practical use, it's typically applied in diluted form, never raw, especially for the skin or gums. It's strong, bitter, potent, but effective. A desert resin that helped people survive in a world where infections spread fast and treatment options were limited. Onion, the everyday remedy for coughs and congestion. Onions don't look like medicine, but for most of history, they were. Like garlic, onions are mentioned in the Book of Numbers as a regular part of the diet in Egypt. And just like garlic, they weren't just eaten for flavor. They were used to stay well. Onions contain sulfur compounds similar to garlic, and when cut or crushed, they release substances that may help fight microbes and support respiratory health. In traditional remedies, onions were often used for coughs and congestion. One common method was simple: sliced onions mixed with honey, left to sit, and then taken by the spoonful as a natural cough syrup. The combination helps soothe the throat while supporting the body's ability to clear mucus. Onions were also used in steam inhalation practices, where their vapors were believed to help open the airways. Modern research suggests onions contain antioxidants and compounds that may support immune function and reduce inflammation. Today, onion-based remedies still appear in traditional households around the world. Not because they're trendy, because they work. A common vegetable that quietly doubled as medicine for generations. Figs, the natural poultice for skin infections. Figs were more than food in the ancient world. They were treatment. In the Second Book of Kings, a fig poultice is applied to King Hezekiah as part of his recovery from illness. That detail gives us a direct look at how plants were used in practical healing. A poultice, crushed plant matter applied directly to the body. Figs, especially when mashed, create a soft, moist texture that makes them useful for this kind of application. Ancient healers used them on boils, skin infections, and inflamed areas to help draw out impurities and support healing. The natural sugars and compounds in figs may have helped create an environment that discouraged certain types of bacterial growth, while keeping the area moist. Modern research has explored figs and found they contain antioxidants and compounds that may support skin health and inflammation reduction. Today, figs are mostly eaten as food, but the idea behind their use hasn't disappeared. Poultices using natural materials applied directly to the skin are still part of traditional healing practices. It's simple, accessible, and it worked well enough to be recorded in scripture. A fruit that didn't just nourish the body, but was pressed into service when healing was needed. Cumin, the digestive remedy that still holds up. Digestive problems were common in the ancient world, and cumin was one of the go-to solutions. It's mentioned in the book of Isaiah as a carefully cultivated crop, which tells us it wasn't random, it was important enough to grow intentionally. Cumin seeds were used to support digestion, reduce bloating, and help the body process food more efficiently. In traditional use, cumin was often brewed into a tea or added generously to meals. The idea was simple: prevent digestive issues before they start. And in a world without processed food or refrigeration, that mattered. Modern research has confirmed that cumin contains compounds that may stimulate digestive enzymes and support gut health. Some studies suggest it may also have antimicrobial properties. In practical terms, cumin is still incredibly easy to use. Add it to food, brew it in hot water, combine it with other spices. Nothing complicated, just consistent support for the digestive system. A small seed that helped people avoid bigger problems. Mustard, the circulation booster, hidden in a seed. Most people know mustard from its symbolism in the Bible, especially in the Gospel of Matthew. But beyond the metaphor, mustard had a very practical use. It generates heat. When mustard seeds are crushed and mixed with water, they release compounds that create a warming sensation. Ancient healers used this to their advantage. Mustard poultices were applied to the chest for congestion, to sore muscles for pain relief, and to areas of poor circulation to stimulate blood flow. The heat wasn't just for comfort, it increased circulation to the area, which may have helped the body heal more efficiently. Modern research has identified compounds in mustard that may support circulation and have mild antimicrobial effects. Even today, mustard plasters are still used in some traditional practices, especially for chest congestion and muscle soreness. But they must be used carefully. Too strong, and they can irritate the skin. Used properly, they can be effective. A tiny seed, with a surprising amount of power. A reminder that sometimes, healing starts by getting things moving again. Barley, the recovery food for strength and healing. When someone was weak, sick, or recovering in the ancient world, one of the first things they were given was barley. It appears throughout Scripture, including in the Gospel of John, where barley loaves are used to feed thousands. That detail matters. Barley was the food of everyday people, especially in times of need. But it was also used as a form of recovery nutrition. Barley was often prepared as a soft porridge or as barley water, a simple drink made by boiling the grain. This made it easy to digest and ideal for those who couldn't handle heavy food. Ancient healers used barley water to support hydration, calm the digestive system, and restore strength after illness or fever. Modern research supports this. Barley contains beta-glucans, a type of soluble fiber that may support heart health, stabilize blood sugar, and improve digestion. It also provides essential nutrients needed for recovery. Even today, barley water is still used in some cultures as a gentle, restorative drink. It's not fast. It's not dramatic. But it works. A basic grain, used to rebuild strength when the body needed it most. Sometimes healing doesn't come from strong medicine. Sometimes it comes from simple nourishment, given consistently. Flax, the gut soother and natural fiber remedy. Digestive issues didn't disappear in the ancient world, and one of the simplest solutions was flax. Flax is mentioned in the Book of Exodus, mostly in connection with linen production, but the seeds themselves were widely used for food and healing. When soaked in water, flax seeds form a gel-like texture. That's the key. Ancient healers used this gel to soothe the digestive tract, especially in cases of irritation, constipation, or inflammation. It acted as a natural coating, helping protect and calm the gut. In practical use, flax was either soaked and consumed or ground and added to food. Modern research confirms these benefits. Flax seeds are rich in fiber and omega-3 fatty acids, and studies suggest they may support digestion, reduce inflammation, and promote regular bowel movements. Today, flax is often labeled a superfood. But thousands of years ago, it was simply a reliable remedy, something people turned to when their digestion was off. No complexity, no special preparation, just a seed that supported the body from the inside out. Pomegranate, the inflammation fighter hidden in a fruit. Pomegranate was one of the most valued fruits in the ancient world, appearing in temple designs in the First Book of Kings. But beyond symbolism, it had very real medicinal use. Ancient healers used different parts of the pomegranate, the juice, peel, and even bark for a variety of conditions. It was especially valued for inflammation and digestive issues. The fruit's juice was often consumed to strengthen the body, while the peel was sometimes used in traditional preparations for gut health. Modern research has taken strong interest in pomegranate. Studies suggest it contains powerful antioxidants, particularly punicalagins, which may help reduce inflammation and support heart health. It has also been explored for its antimicrobial properties. Today, pomegranate juice is widely consumed, often promoted for its health benefits. But its traditional use was simple. Eat the fruit. Use what's available. Support the body naturally. A fruit filled with hundreds of seeds, each one carrying nourishment and potential healing. Rue, the strong herb for digestive and parasite support. Rue is not a gentle plant, and ancient people knew it. It's mentioned in the Gospel of Luke as one of the herbs carefully measured and tithed, showing that it was commonly grown and used. But rue was always handled with respect. In traditional medicine, rue was used for digestive stimulation and, in some cases, for parasite cleansing. Its strong, bitter compounds were believed to help the body eliminate unwanted organisms and support internal balance. Because of its potency, it was used in very small amounts. Modern research has found that rue contains active compounds with antimicrobial and anti-inflammatory properties. However, it also confirms what ancient healers already understood: this plant must be used cautiously. Today, rue is rarely used in everyday remedies, but it still appears in traditional herbal systems. It's not for casual use. It's for specific situations. A powerful plant that reminds us something important. Not all medicine is mild. Some of it demands precision, respect, and knowledge. Dates, the natural energy and recovery food. In harsh environments, survival depended on energy, and dates provided it. The date palm is referenced throughout Scripture, including in the Book of Psalms, often symbolizing life and endurance. But practically, dates were one of the most important foods in desert regions. They are dense in natural sugars, making them an immediate source of energy. Travelers carried them on long journeys, and they were often given to the weak or recovering because they were easy to eat and highly nourishing. Dates were also used to support digestion and restore strength after illness. Modern research confirms that dates are rich in fiber, minerals, and natural sugars that provide quick and sustained energy. They may also support digestive health. Even today, dates are commonly eaten for energy, especially during fasting or recovery. There's no preparation required, no special process. Just eat. a fruit that helped people survive extreme conditions and recover when their strength was gone. A reminder that sometimes the most powerful medicine is simply giving the body what it needs. It's incredible to realize that these plants were never just part of the background in the Bible. They were part of life. They fed families in the wilderness, healed wounds without medicine, calmed the body, strengthened the weak, and traveled across ancient trade routes long before modern science could explain why they worked. For generations, people lived close to the land, understanding that healing wasn't something you bought, it was something you grew, gathered, and passed down. And today, many of these same plants are still here, growing quietly, waiting to be rediscovered. So, which of these biblical plants surprised you the most? Let me know in the comments. I read every one. And if you want to keep uncovering the hidden wisdom of Scripture, make sure to subscribe to Biblical Roots and join us as we explore the plants, foods, and natural knowledge woven throughout the Bible. Because sometimes, the oldest wisdom is the one we need the most.